Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Wednesday edition of the Mark Moses Show. As always, broadcasting live from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Hey, take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. That's right. We're broadcasting here on a Wednesday. We're getting ready for a new season of football. I got two great guests coming on with me today. Talk about some great topics, NFL, college football. I'll get to some more high school later in the show. But you know what? Let's start with this guy. He does a great job there in Orlando covering multiple teams, including UCF, the Jaguars, and I know he loves some fantasy football as well. He is my good friend, Kyle Nash, and we'll start with UCF. Let's bring him on here on the show. All right, let's see if I can do this I think I can do it here. All right, I'm going to switch this over. All right, I like being on this side. I do. Kyle, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, great to be aboard. So I hope you enjoyed your tour of Europe. And listen, this new podcast space, the moment I hear those drumsticks going, I get hyped and I'm ready to go. Mark Moses, let's do the thing.
I had a lot of fun. I did last week, and I always do that where I need 1 week before we go on this 6 straight month bonanza of football. I need 1 week where I need to get away from everyone and just relax. And I say that in the highest regard. I love my family and friends, but I'm like, I got to get away. So I did. So I went to a place where pro football doesn't exist, baseball, college athletics. Remember, college athletics only is big in this country. You forget this. It's the craziest thing. So I had fun. But let's start with this, and you do a great job covering multiple teams. But let's start with UCF, Black and Gold Banneret. I know Scott Frost yesterday, the new head coach, part 2, still hasn't named a starting quarterback. Let's start there. What is the latest, Kyle?
Well, and it's been the consistent message. He's looking for somebody to stand up and take the job by the reins, and that just hasn't happened yet. And really, you got the 3 different flavors, right? Cam Fancher, Tavon Jackson, Jakari Brown. One is a more stationary guy, throws the ball, but is experienced, a good leader. One is an athlete who needs work throwing the ball, but has the support of the team, can get himself out of trouble with his feet. And another guy is a development guy that's somewhere between the two. But really, and you might have heard my good friend Eric Lopez say this on the Night Shift podcast. And I know you had him here on the Moses Show. Yeah, we'll give you a bell for the Moses Show and Eric Lopez. Why not?
Thank you.
But talking with Eric Lopez about it, he went O-line with me and used one of my previous theorems with me. I shouldn't say against me, but he brought it to my attention. Hey, this applies here. If anybody doesn't step up to play the quarterback position, as Coach Frost said he's looking for, the offensive line and how good they are might force a decision. If you have an O-line that you're not confident in, I don't care how good you think Jakari Brown is, you need a dude that can escape. He's your leading prospect. If you have a dude that can protect and you're worried about the youth other places, or I should say dudes who can protect in the O-line and are worried about things other places, you need an experienced guy like a Cam Fancher. If it's a mix between somewhere near the two, where you have a guy who you need a guy who can throw the ball, but you're not sure about how, let's say, the O-line's going to handle the blitz or certain things, you go in the middle there, you get the Tavon Jackson action, who has the best bit of both among the 3. So that's kind of the 4th piece. If none of the 3 guys step up, which the saying goes, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you don't have one. But at the end of the day, if that happens, I think the prowess of the offensive line, and which was the first part that Frost started building in version 2.0 here, right? How they end up looking throughout practice here is going to determine who the starter was. Just like, if you remember, Mikey Keene versus John Rice Plumlee 2 years ago, right?
Is this the first time UCF does not know who their starting quarterback is since maybe the first time Scott Frost was here? Almost. I mean, when you think about it, for week 1.
No, there's the whole Keene and Plumlee thing I just mentioned.
Wait. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to disagree. It was Plumlee. Come on. It's a Plumlee. He loved Plumlee. He loved him with all of his heart. He wanted to go with Plumlee.
I think the offensive line in that instance actually cast the final vote there. He needed a guy, Malzahn needed a guy that can move like that.
You're angry with me now. I see. You're angry with me. I'm telling you.
Listen, it's your show. You have every right to be incorrect that you want.
Let me tell you, if Plumlee was in a wheelchair and had every arm broken, every leg broken, Malzahn would still be like, "This is my guy." I'm sorry.
Well, okay, I'll even give you that one. If you want to take that one, it was, I believe this is the Heupel era then we're talking about, with when Brandon Wimbush transferred in, then there was DJ Mack who got hurt, and then a young Dylan Gabriel ended up looking good in the spring.
Yeah, Wimbush had hype. He really did go, because I remember in the spring game there was hype for him going in. And yeah, that's a good point. So my question for you then, the real one I should have asked, it was Kyle Nash. Who do you think should be, so clarify, who do you think should be the starting quarterback for UCF?
I'm in the unpopular camp. Now, granted, there is no spring game anymore, so I didn't get that observation where I've been able to call out both Greg McCray and Dylan Gabriel as future starters, but we don't have to talk about that right now. It's work I've done with the Black and Gold Banneret and other outlets. But what I will say is, for me, without having seen the offensive line do what exactly it is it's supposed to do in person yet, in full pads and in full whatever, I'm leaning towards Taven Jackson. Listen, this is a guy you obviously brought in as a project. He's a younger guy compared to his compatriots. He's here because you saw him have success at a Big Ten school, right? Indiana transfer. And you're looking to build him into something. Starting Cam Fancher here does not make sense in my mind, looking towards the future. Now, if you're in a win now state, cool, you do what you need to do. But me, I would start Taven Jackson. Now, the other thing is, there's a good chance that all three quarterbacks see significant time throughout the year. That's a whole other conversation.
Well, how many quarterbacks saw action last year? Was it 4?
It was 4. You are right.
Because our guy Eric Lopez backed me up on this, where there was no injuries last year at the quarterback position, and they played like 4 different ones. So, all right, you were on record. You do a great job covering UCF football. You say all these quarterbacks are going to see the field this year in your eyes.
Yeah, it may be. I don't know if it's going to be so much as the opponent will determine who starts, that kind of thing, though I won't rule it out, non-zero chance, right? But I think everybody sees time throughout the year. Correct.
Do you have high expectations for this football team then here in 2025?
Right, define high expectations. No, I think if Frost 2.0 makes a bowl game in year 1, that is a success.
I agree, and I will tell you why. They didn't make a bowl game last year.
Correct.
This is my thing. There's still this feeling of, oh, it's 2018, it's 2019 expectations.
Mm-hmm.
That was before the pandemic. They haven't had a legitimate football team since Josh Heupel was the coach here. And I feel bad saying that. I mean, from the standpoint of, okay, all right, I see you're rolling your eyes there. All right, so the last year in the American, they were right there to win the conference.
There you go.
And they couldn't get it done. And that's it.
Well, and here's the problem, right? The injury bug was a thing. Gus Malzahn was hoping that John Rice Plumlee could do Cam Newton things, but he can't. He's not, he's not 6 feet tall, and he's certainly not over 240 pounds like Cam was in the day. And there were durability issues. Injuries killed Malzahn's team leading up to this past year, where it was, unfortunate NIL decisions that did more damage in that instance too. It's funny you mentioned the no injuries at quarterback. That might be the only year Malzahn didn't face some sort of starter injury in his coaching tenure. It's the one that went the worst. Figure that out. But yeah, I won't go so far as to say they weren't legitimate at all under Malzahn, but the stratagem of depending entirely on a quarterback to carry it with his legs, like John Rice Plumlee, who was reckless and all of that, it's kind of the same problem I would liken it to for you Orlando fans out there. Jalen Suggs with the Orlando Magic. He's going to miss time. It's just a matter of when. But Malzahn never really was able to account for that.
What do you think the identity of this football team will be? And is that a wait and see type
It
answer?
has to be. What is, I forget the number. Is it 60% of this team is new. Like, I forget the number, but it's incredibly high, right? This is a transfer heavy ball club. There's nobody on the wide receiver core that caught a pass for the black and gold last year. So here's the thing. Yeah, it's wild. So here's the thing that you can look at if you're positive, if you want a positive point of view at the UCF. And I wrote a little about this in the Black and Gold Banneret. The last time Malzahn took over, right, we're talking 2016. The O'Leary offense that he took over for was unable to complete 200 yards worth of passes per game. That hadn't happened since last year, where Frost is about to enter again. In 2016, they improved 6 games, going from no wins to 6, right? And established a ground game. This year, for the comeback, they already have a pretty good ground game with Jaden Nixon, with Miles Montgomery, first and foremost, and that running back group. The O-line is revamped with guys that may not be familiar, but are experienced. So there's a lot of similarities there. And I'll say this, I make the comment about the receivers not having caught passes in black and gold last year. There's still a senior, a redshirt junior, and a junior, all catching passes, all experienced guys, right? Burke, Thomas, and Black. All 3 of them are experienced football players. They're just new to this school. But I think that's equals experience in the NIL era. You got to give that its credit.
We're the Cal Nash. He works for great multiple publications. A student of the game is on the screen right now, but also Black and Gold Banneret. The schedule overall, how do you look at it? Because year 3 in the Big 12? What are your thoughts on this?
As a Big 12 schedule goes, it could be worse. Could have been nicer. As you go through it, I'll put it this way. Last year, to finish out the schedule during the last 6 games, they played 3 teams that were, at least at the time UCF played them, contenders for the conference, right? BYU, Arizona State, Iowa State. Now, I didn't think Iowa State was for real either, but that's another question.
Yeah.
I don't want to besmirch the great Matt Campbell too much. Super awesome guy. I don't feel like that's the same thing that happens this year with the schedule. And I'll even see that and raise you this, Mark Moses. I think that UNC game, with all the discord surrounding the great Bill Belichick and his coaching tenure, and all the stories about, you got Torre out there talking about, his girlfriend and everything. We're not hearing a thing about football at all, So who really knows how that's going to go? That could turn out to be a winnable game that we see coming once the ball gets kicked off. I could be completely wrong. Stranger things have happened, but I'm not necessarily perturbed by the out of conference schedule. How could you be? Yeah, I think Kansas State's going to be a little tough. Kansas, I don't know what to expect from them. And then West Virginia, it's the same thing. I don't know what to expect from them. And there's just a lot of teams here. Obviously, closing the season with BYU will be interesting now that their quarterback situation's different. But there's no team where I'm like, oh, that's going to be super tough. But then again, the Big 12 is the most underappreciated conference in college football. So maybe I'm even under-reading some of those teams.
I like BYU's going to start a quarterback who's a freshman, I believe, and he wears number 47. I love it. I love it. That is some old school football right there. 47 for the quarterback, right? I think their other quarterback left because he broke the rules for BYU. So he's
Correct.
like, he's going to like Tulane or something. And I was like, yeah, we're going with this freshman, number 47. And go on.
Yeah, how crazy is that? He goes from BYU to Tulane. He goes from the upkept and buttoned up school to like near Bourbon Street.
That's right. You got to go to the complete opposite. That's what you need to do. So then, like you said, West Virginia's got Rich Rodriguez, which is still mind-boggling to say out loud. He's back there. And then, the idea of North Carolina going to be at the bounce house. I don't even care about the game. I just want to be there for the press conference. I have to. I'm sorry. I love Scott Frost. That post game with Bill Belichick, I have to be there.
You want him to mumble at you?
I want him to mumble.
We're on to
we're on to West Virginia. That's what I'll say. I want the girlfriend to be there, and I want her to be answering the questions. I want you in the front row, asking the question to Belichick, and the girlfriend says, no, he's not going to answer that question.
It'll probably be Lopez, but we're not sure she'll even be allowed on the flight if you believe the headlines, but I digress.
Do you think the rumors of him going back to the NFL will already start by the time we get to that game in late September?
Yeah, of course they'll start.
I agree.
They can't resist it. Will it really happen? No, I don't think so. I really do genuinely think he's done with the NFL. But I've been proven wrong before. I didn't think Brady was going to come back. What do I know?
And he did. Hey, Joe Flacco's the starter of Cleveland. All right. So, I mean, anything is possible. It really
Anything can happen. That's right. Dude.
Tell us about your coverage then for UCF football this fall, buddy.
Yeah, listen, with the Black and Gold Banneret and the Night Shift podcast, I'm going to be covering every game up there in the press box, doing the thing, whether it's Eric Lopez, Donnie Dox, or any of the other new personalities that are coming there. Make sure you check that out there. blackandgoldbanneret.com and the Night Shift podcast. And I've got to say this, Mark Moses, it's year 3 in the Big 12. I've provided cushion. Hey, you've got to update your roster for the new conference. It's time to start putting up or shutting up, I think, at this juncture.
Has it finally hit you that Scott Frost is the coach? Like, you've gotten over the shock of that as he's talking.
Yeah, I have, because when he gave his first media day, not the first press conference, I was on a family trip. Lopez was all that. I'll let him recite what he saw there. But when I asked him about how the NFL, or no, if he thought NFL contracts and free agency was similar to NIL, his response being incredibly real when he said, I don't want to insult anybody, but I wish I had contracts with the NIL. I'm like, there you go. And that was Scott Frost as it gets, man.
Do you think the fans will be easy on him at first? With the, like, do you get the pass for this year 1?
I don't think he gets a full year of recompense, right? If he comes out and they struggle, not lose, just struggle against Jacksonville State, which is an underrated team that was in the Kira Bowl this past year, by the way, they're going to throw tomatoes at him just like they did KJ Jefferson when he came out looking flat, right? So now
that's your answer. That's what it is. And if Nebraska calls up, hey, shut up and hang up the phone. If any other team, no, you're the coach here. You're going to make this work.
I'm pretty sure he already has them blocked on his cell phone. They can call. They're just going to get a service message. They're not going to get him. I'm just saying.
All right, let's switch gears to the NFL real quick here with Kyle Nash. I appreciate coming on. I said this on Monday. I want to get your thoughts. I saw the preseason game at New Orleans over the weekend. So in case you didn't see it, you're waking up from a coma. I'll just give you the Cliff Notes version. Not for Kyle, everyone else. So they come out, they go right down the field. I think New Orleans might be the worst team in football. I think there's a chance here. But Jacksonville comes out, goes right down the field. And then Trevor Lawrence botches the snap, fumbles it, and it's a turnover. And there's this feeling on the sideline like, oh, no, here we go again. But I felt like Liam Cohn, there was kind of maybe this fear of God. Hey, you're going to go back out there and you're going to get it right. And you notice the next possession, they went right down the field and scored a touchdown. I feel like Liam Cohn is going to help this offense play professional NFL football this fall. Do you, going to training camp, seeing these preseason games, have you noticed something from Liam Cohn that can help this football team?
I think the only thing wrong with your assessment is that you are slightly diminishing the impact of not only James Gladstone, the GM, aka Jimmy Stones, and Liam Cohn as the head coach. I don't think Liam Cohn put the fear of God there in the sideline. I think what they've been going throughout camp, they were pissed at themselves. They deserved to score. They knew it. An unfortunate situation where Ezra Cleveland, the left guard, stepped on Trevor Lawrence's foot. I think they pushed themselves out there to go get it, especially after the defense did what they did to the Saints. The following drive with what was it? It was Dwan Smoot and Trayvon Walker forcing the intentional grounding call, right? The way the defense dominated there. And they're like, listen, we know Cam Little's good. It's our turn to put some dang points on the board, which they did. even without Travis Hunter, by the way, and Anton Harrison.
So that's a yes and no as your answer.
That's a yes and, actually.
Yes, and
right.
That's what you're going with.
And this as well. I think the storm that is the quiet storm of Liam Cohn and Jimmy Stones, as well as Tony Baselli as the executive vice president, has already changed the culture from what we see there in Duval.
I am very excited after what I saw. And I know, look, it's not much. It's 2 preseason games, but
sure,
they won 4 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be better this fall. They are going to, they're going to be better in 4 wins. I know that's not high expectations here, but when you look around, they got weapons on offense. Like Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud. We haven't really seen what Travis Hunter can do in this offense yet. New offensive line. Are you excited for this offense?
100%. And I know what you're thinking, but Kyle, everybody's so new on the offensive line. You know what makes them different in Jacksonville? Every other team hasn't acknowledged it and addressed it to the same level the Jags have this season. I've already said this on the Duval Dive, Mark Moses. The reason why the Jags are going to be the second best team and a threat to win the AFC South is because their O-line was in the most flux, because they're trying to fix it, right? Look at the Texans. They got rid of Laramie Tunsil, and their O-line did not upgrade. I would argue it took a step back. The Titans did some things. They need more. I don't care who your O-line is in Indy, because you got Danny Dimes starting, because whether it's Richardson being bad or hurt or both, you're chalk this one up, okay? I'm not saying first round pick because Jonathan Taylor's going to put up numbers. Don't bet Jonathan Taylor because none of the bets are worth any value. I'm just saying. But yeah, the Jags are a threat to win the division. I'm not saying they will, but I do have them winning 8 games.
8 games. How many wins does it take to win this division then this fall?
9 or 10.
I agree. That's what it usually is, right? 9 or 10. All right, so you're taking them second. So you're taking, let's make sure we get this right. Houston 1, Jaguars 2. Who would you have 3?
Titans.
Titans, and then whatever the hell the Colts are doing. That's is Anthony Richardson a bust then?
He has to be, whether it's his fault or not. And I'm going to provide the Trey Lance defense. I'm not going to get into whether or not I think Anthony Richardson is good. But like Trey Lance with the 49ers, injury prevented him from getting the opportunity. And I don't know how much Trey Lance you've watched. I've watched more than I thought I would have now that I'm the producer of the Bolt Blitz Uncut podcast.
How many shows are you on after a while?
But I say all that to say Trey Lance has showed promise now that he's not hurt as a backup to Justin Herbert. I don't think Anthony Richardson's even gotten that far, and he was more raw than Lance, I can argue. Because, hey, man, listen, you cover Gainesville enough. You know that Anthony Richardson started out as a backup himself over there, with the Gators. And
he couldn't stay healthy in Gainesville.
Correct. You got it.
Exactly. He could not. Look, he showed you flashes where he looked like Vince Young at times at Florida, but he barely played. He didn't even play a full season. At least Trey Lance played a season at North Dakota State.
Correct.
He might go down then as the greatest combine performance of all time. He had no business being a top 5 pick. None. And look, even in the preseason opener, he gets injured. All he does, see, that's what's so sad. He's got a Superman body, can't stay healthy.
Correct.
It's the craziest thing. I feel bad for him, but I think it's over for him. I think he has to go to another team.
That's definitely true. I think that's true. And let me take it full circle. For those wondering why the Colts picked Richardson, it's because he was better than Levis, right? Remember that draft year? You were so surprised when I said that Levis wasn't a first rounder either, right? That's the only reason the Colts picked him is because they liked him better than Levis, and they had to have a quarterback at that point because they had just failed. What was it? It wasn't the Phillip Rivers experiment. What was it after that? I forget.
Was it the Phillip Rivers experiment?
No, it was Wentz. That was after that. That's what it was.
It doesn't work. You can't just go draft a quarterback. It's like the Giants. Oh, we're going to go with Russell Wilson. It's not going to work.
But that's the thing. They finally figured that part out But then the guy they got once they did was Richardson. Well, what are you going to do?
You know what's going to happen. Danny Dimes, as you call him, he's going to win the first game. I'm telling you right now, he's going to win the first game. Everyone's going, oh, this is amazing for the Colts. Giants are stupid. And then they're going to play a couple weeks. And then it's going to.
Exactly. They're going to realize the reason they call him Indiana Jones has nothing to do with the Colts. It's the fact that he's about to get whipped. Next question.
Wow. He went with that.
I sure did.
I'll end with this with you, and I appreciate coming on, Kyle Nash.
Absolutely.
It's a question I posed to multiple people this week. In the NFL, is it all about the offense now? To the point where you better have a quarterback, you better have multiple weapons. Like, who cares what your defense has? You better put up 30 points a game. Is that the new current state of the NFL?
I mean, if you believe the Cincinnati Bengals, maybe I Freudian slip. They're going to be as bad as the Colts, even though their quarterback's awesome. If you believe the Cincinnati Bengals, sure. I think that's mostly true. The three most important positions are, and this has been accentuated, the guy that throws the ball, right? The quarterback. The guy who's protecting the guy throwing the ball, your line, and the guy that's trying to hit the dude throwing the ball, your pass rush. And call me my bias. I'll throw up my my credentials for my O-line time once again with Aaron Evans' original painting. But I will say that edge rush piece, that ability to flummox the other quarterback, changes everything. Just ask the Eagles.
You know who's the biggest loser in all of this? And it really, really saddens me to say this. And I've thought about this for about 2 weeks now. The linebacker position.
Correct.
It's not sexy anymore. You, off the top of your head, you could have told me 20 years ago. Oh, Ray Lewis. Who's the best one? Brian Urlacher, right? I'm talking Hall of Fame. Mike Singletary, Ray Nitschke, all these guys. You could just say their names, right? Now, I was looking at the NFL top 100 players, and I think they're at like number 30 now. There was Roquan Smith, Baltimore, right? I don't even know why I feel bad saying this. If you're like a high school kid or a college player, why would you play linebacker? You're not going to get paid. It's not a sexy position. It's the weirdest thing. When you look at the history of football, linebacker is like, I think it's bottom of the totem pole now.
Your boy Dick Butkus, man, right? Linebackers are there to deliver punishment. Direct quote from him. They don't do it like that anymore because they got to cover the tight ends who are now trying to be Pro Bowlers, right? There's a player on the Jags that had over 100 tackles the past 3 seasons, and I think maybe beyond. I'd have to look it up. You don't know his name. Foye Oluokun is the most underrated defensive player probably out there.
Yeah, if you're Ray Lewis, you're coming out of Miami. He was drafted in 96. If Ray Lewis is playing right now, I don't know if he plays linebacker. Maybe he's now look, he's not the tallest guy, but is he an edge rusher? Where do you put him? Like, or maybe he just keeps playing linebacker. I don't know. It weirds me out.
I think he still plays backer, but he throughout his career, he works out differently. His body type changes a bit. He's not going to be as bruising. Don't worry. He'll still mess you up, but I think he would be a little faster, be covering tight ends. You'd see, he would look more like what you saw from Derek Brooks, getting a few interceptions, covering guys. He would just be a different player, right? It's the Jordan thing. He's not necessarily worse than a modern player. He just would have trained differently. That's what I think would happen.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so on defense, who gets paid? Edge rusher?
Yep.
Big time money?
Mm-hmm.
Your defensive back? Like,
that's what I've seen happen, and I don't agree with that model. Like, you pay your lockdown corner, cool. They still have other receivers out there they can hurt you with. And the safety position is also a lost art, right? You mentioned Ray Lewis. I'll raise you Ed Reed, John Lynch. Oh goodness, I'm going blank right now.
Like a Rod Woodson. Like,
well, that's even further back, but yeah, sure, Rod Woodson, Ronnie Lott, if we want to throw this, in there, guys like that were Hall of Fame caliber dudes that were intimidating, even though they were in the backfield. But now you can't hit people like that anymore.
Yeah, I'd see Ronnie Lott. Would they be like, all right, you're going to play offense? We'll end with this. I know we're going long. I appreciate coming on. This goes back to Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You gave up the king's ransom to get him. the ball has got to be in his hands. I know he could be the best shutdown corner in the NFL, but how much we gave up and his explosiveness, and I think also the window due to injuries, you never know. I think him and Brian Thomas Jr., I think you got to put the ball in his hands. I think offense has got to be the number one thing for him.
And that's how he's slated and how he's playing right now, right? He played one series with the starters in that Steelers football game and played more with the defense, which tells me they're treating him more like a backup there. So I do think he gets more offensive snaps, but don't be surprised if the volume he snaps he plays anywhere is dictated by the opponent that they're playing in the game plan for a particular week.
That's a great point. He just can't be on the sidelines. I can't have a game where he doesn't touch the ball.
You got it.
I can't. You know, it's funny when the Bears drafted Devin Hester, he was a defensive back.
I remember
out of Miami, and his rookie year, he played backup defensive back, and then he was doing kick returner. And then the Bears are like, "Well, we got to pay him," so they paid him, and they said, "Well, we better get him the ball as much as we can." So they try to teach. See, this is another chapter of why the Bears are so dysfunctional. The guy makes the Hall of Fame despite the stupidity of the franchise.
Well, and the part you miss is he came back for a game with the Falcons and broke 2 off for a touchdown, and they were both going back. That's not even in the books.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I can't. That opener for the Jaguars, they're going to be there in 100 billion degree heat opening weekend in Jacksonville. Everyone in the country is going to be watching that for 5 minutes at least. Sure. And I think everyone in the stadium, no one's going to the bathroom. Oh, get your food before don't you feel like everyone's going to see what number 12 can do for the Jaguars?
Exactly. And if I'm Liam Cohn, I take a book out of Sean Payton's page with what he did with Reggie Bush. Don't even give him the ball right off the bat. Decoy him because everybody's thinking it. And next thing you know, you've got Brenton Strange down the sideline for a touchdown on a streak route. It's great.
Yeah, because look, Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud.
Yeah,
stud in this offense, and I'm excited. I am. His name is Kyle Nash. All right, since you said you're on 55 different shows, right? I know you have to go. How can we follow you on X, social media? How can we do that?
Honor, joy, and privilege is always to do it, Mark Moses. A lot of fun. Thank you so much. Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writing with Fans First Sports Network, covering your Jacksonville Jaguars and the Orlando Magic when it's more basketball-y out there in the world. And then, of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret, covering UCF, the Night Shift podcast with that, the Duval Dive with the Believe Network for your Jaguars, and then, of course, the freshly debuted Bolt Blitz Uncut. We've already talked to Emery Hunt and Amy Trask, Mark Moses, so we're doing things over there.
When does the Pokemon card hunting show start? When is that going to be a show as well?
Hey, listen, if my son gets into it, you better watch out, Mark Moses. Be careful what you wish for, son.
Coming up on Thursday, we're at this Target, right? Yeah, I know. We're looking for these. All right.
New release of the silver card. No, anyways. Until next time, Mark Moses. Class dismissed.
All right, great stuff. Thanks to Kyle Nash for coming on. That guy is a busy man. Love talking to him. All right. That is Jaguar Talk, and that is UCF Talk. And if you miss anything, go to our website at Mark Moses Show for the latest. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch gears. I went up to Gainesville and talked to this fine gentleman. He is, yes, David Soderquist with Hightop Sports. We went over latest on DJ Lagway. Is he ready for the opener? That's the question. And what are his expectations for the 2025 Gators? Yeah, football is back. Let's hear from David.
On the Mark Moses Show to go over the latest on the Florida Gators, as we're about 10 days away from the opener. Can't wait. This guy does a great job with Hightop Sports. His name is David Soderquist. David, how you doing today?
Good, Mark, man. We're about a week, less than 2 weeks away from football season. Everything's ramped up here for Hightop. We've been going just about every day, pumping out some content. We'll have some good stuff coming on here tonight, here too, live.
Tell us the latest on DJ Lagway, because there are high expectations for him, but Is he going to start the season? What's going on, David?
Yeah, you hear about DJ Lagway during the offseason dealing with some ailments, some injuries. Of course, he didn't get to participate much in spring. You come to fall camp, you're still hearing, Lagway is not throwing, and then the video surface of him throwing actually in practice, and then you hear about yesterday he was competing in 11-on-11. So the calf, we all heard about that and how he was in a boot. And according to Billy Napier and everybody I've talked to around the program, they say he's fine. He should be competing week 1. We'll see how long he's in the game week 1. We don't know if it's going to be a drive or two or maybe till halftime or what. Hopefully, Florida can put up good 21-28, pull him, and then we'll start to see Harrison Bailey and Aiden Warner, who are still competing for the, the backup spot there in fall practice and fall camp.
Is the team lucky, maybe that's the right word to use here, to start with a cupcake pretty much compared to last year when they hosted Miami?
Yeah, I would say so. Just because of just the small injuries that you've been hearing in fall camp. Now, a lot of these injuries are not the biggest deal. We heard about Dallas Wilson and a cast. The cast thing isn't as bad as what is described either, from what I was told either. So we should see Dallas Wilson at some point in the season or at the beginning of the season or anything. But yeah, I mean, you start out, Billy Napier gets here, he starts out against number 7 Utah, has to play them again the next year. Then you're at top 10 Miami, and now you get to get maybe a cupcake game. I would say 2 cupcake games, but USF will probably be a little bit harder than LIU. But at least you get a couple of games out here to where maybe you can reassess some things on your roster, maybe get DJ Lagway more comfortable coming out of the fall camp, since he did miss so much time during the spring, and maybe you can get him in, as I said, for maybe a quarter or two, and then probably take him out and see where you're at with Aiden Warner, Harrison Bailey there. But as far as everything else, man, I don't see anything of severity of injury so far in this camp from what I've been told. So everything's good right now on the injury front. We just still got to get some guys that are nicked up, get them fully healthy and ready to participate.
Do you have this feeling, David, and you've been watching this team your whole life, that, okay, they should start 2-0, and then we have a gauntlet of LSU, Texas? I mean, I can go on and on. Is that kind of the feeling you get?
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, they're worried. I've talked to a lot of fans on X and on social media that say, "Hey, do you think Lagway will be healthy the whole season?" And of course, I'm not a psychic, so I tell them, I'm like, "Hey, look, I would rather have the injuries happen in fall practice, fall camp, spring, rather than during the season." But yeah, I mean, you're talking about a gauntlet after week 2. Florida's really going to have to be ready. You're going to have to get your guys healthy through all of that too. And I mean, LSU, you have right off the rip, who's obviously recruited top 5 every year, but did really well in the portal, had the number 1 portal class. So they're going to be a tough opponent. And then after them, you have the University of Miami and Hard Rock. And, if those players remember what happened last year with Miami coming in there and, blowing them out there and talking to the recruits in the stands and all that, I think those players will be really up for that game, especially having that bad taste in their mouth last year from all of that. And then you go on to play Texas A&M. I mean, that's a big 4-game stretch. Now, you do get bye weeks before Texas, and you get a bye week before Georgia. So those bye weeks come in at a really good time, considering those are going to be probably your 2 toughest opponents on your schedule, 2 top 5 matchups, I would assume, by the time that they get here. But at least you get Texas and Gainesville. You get them at home. And we'll see what Florida looks like there in the swamp. I'm pretty sure that place is going to be rocking. It's likely already sold out. I'm pretty sure there's resellers selling tickets for that one already. But, yeah, man, I mean, you go down that schedule and you look at just some of the teams you play. I mean, Florida's really going to have to hunker down. And, of course, they had to play this schedule last year, but now they have more talent that they've brought in and some talent that they brought in from the portal. And DJ Lagway's second year, how does DJ Lagway play in his second year? How much of the playbook does he learn? And hopefully, you see a more experienced Lagway out there. But, of course, we just got done talking about how much time he's missed in camp. I think that's the biggest thing that you have to look at coming into the season. And hopefully Lagway can get some time in that week 1 and week 2 stretch.
We're here, David Soderquist, Hightop Sports, getting ready for a new season of Florida Gator football. I know this is like a newspaper clipping, but I'm going there. Is Lagway the most important Gator football player since Tim Tebow played at the Swamp?
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, just based off the recruiting ranking record. I mean, you go by the 5 stars, number 1 dual threat quarterback. I think Tim Tebow was the same thing coming to high school, and we haven't had a quarterback like that since Tim Tebow coming to the Swamp. So yeah, I would say he's in high regard with Tebow. And you know, I mean, you look at some of the quarterbacks that came through Florida, you know, Treon Harris. I mean, I could go down the list of Luke Del Rios and all that. And I think the only one that stood out to me from, I guess, the Tebow era all the way to the Lagway era is Will Greer. And that was a guy that played 6 games and got suspended for PEDs, and now you're sitting back at the same spot you were here. So Florida's never really had that just really elite clutch quarterback from high school. I mean, we're talking about Lagway, who won just about every award you could win in high school, Gatorade Player of the Year, the Bobby Dodd Back Trophy, which they refer to as the high school Heisman. I mean, this kid has won pretty much almost every accolade you can win as a high school athlete. And you're hoping that when he gets to college, he can win some of the accolades as a college athlete as well.
They keep hyping Arch Manning, and I get it. It's valid. He is the grandson of Archie Manning. Peyton Eli is, you know, it's like all that. He's got the family lineage. But the homer in me is like, yeah, that's great and all. You should see number 2 for Florida play. That's the competitive, I live in Florida type feel. Are you getting that as well when they start hyping Arch Manning?
Yeah, I hate to be unfair and sound like a homer and sound like one of those guys that's like they believe in their own quarterback and don't believe in any other quarterback around the league, which is nonsense. I don't believe in that because there's some quarterbacks that, you know, I think will be tough on the schedule. But I just can't put Arch Manning as the toughest quarterback right now just based on the small sample size that we've seen of him in college. Now, has he went out there and has he made plays when he's been out there and done the things that he's supposed to do against the teams he's been playing? Of course, absolutely. But now I really want to see what he can do at the college level, considering everybody is dubbing him as the next Tom Brady or something like that. I think I heard Paul Feinbaum saying he would be better than Tim Tebow, which is a pretty asinine comment to make right now, especially considering he hasn't played that much football. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Arch Manning can't be good and he can't be that guy. I just have to see it. He has to prove it to me before I can sit here and say he's going to be the next Tim Tebow.
We're here at David Soderquist, Hightop Sports. You got to follow him on Twitter for all the Gator coverage, especially recruiting as well. I want to ask you this real quick. Okay, I'm looking at videos. You guys are at the Swamp walking around on the field. You're in the locker room. What did you guys break in? What happened, David?
I have a couple of buddies there that work at the University of Florida, and I was able to tour the new facility there about a month ago. We were having our independent media Gator Day down there at Magnitude Brewing Company, and I had a spare day just to kind of walk around campus and check some things out. So I contacted my buddy Ben. He let us around, let us look at campus, let us look at the new facilities there. Got a really nice pool there too, and I think it was the hottest day in the state of Florida when I went down there. There were like 98, 99 degrees. Humidity was over. It seemed like it was over 100 degrees. But we were outside. That pool looked really nice when I was looking at it at the time. But I mean, just what they've done from just not having a facility, not having a big true indoor practice facility, building this new one, building that new indoor facility, and then the weight room in there. They really went a long way with it, and I was strictly impressed just because I've had my chances to go into that new facility. I've never went in there. I've always had other things I've been doing. Finally, I got some free time, so I got to check it out, and it was a pretty good tour, man. And then of course we went and looked at the old strength and conditioning room and other things like that. But it was pretty fun, man. A good trip down to the University of Florida. I took some videos. We posted a vlog on Hightop of the YouTube of the tour of the brand new facility. So that video is up there too, about 4 or 5 minute video. But yeah, man, something new I got to see, especially just not having to do anything. Because usually when I'm down in the Swamp, I'm usually having to do a lot of things.
You stood there on the field. You were saying earlier how hot it was. Dude, I've been there like post game. And you're like, holy cow, it is hot. That stadium is so unique where the fans are on top of you And then when you're on that field, it is just super hot on the field. Did you get that feeling as well, especially like you're standing in the end zone like that?
Yeah, and you're also wondering, how do they wear all that stuff on top of that, like the uniform and the helmet, the mouthpiece, while they're standing out there? You have to be an athlete to be able to go out there and do the things that they do. And now I know why when opposing teams come down to the swamp and it's hot and it's humid, now I know why they struggle sometimes especially with the crowd and the way that they're going, how they struggle sometimes to even win the football games down here. And also what was really funny, we always talk about 40-yard dashes and how fast could you run a 40-yard dash and all that. And I didn't run one necessarily. I acted like I ran one. I didn't really run one. So that was just a joke that I put out there on social media. But, you look at that 1 yard line and then you look at that 40-yard line and on TV, it looks like a small distance. It's not a small distance at all. And I was just like, I got about a 10-second 40-yard dash in front of me. I think I can do.
Oh, there you go. All right. I think you're good to go. Before I let you go, and I appreciate coming on, David, what's the latest on recruiting? Because I know you do a great job with Hightop Sports. What's the latest going in, into this weekend?
It's ramped down a little bit now during the season since the season's about to start. Of course, we had the commitment of Jake Krull, where he committed to Oklahoma. I don't think that recruitment's over with yet for Florida. I mean, the offer went out to Jake Krull, I think, maybe a week before he had committed to Oklahoma. I would look out for that one. And then you've got the number one quarterback of the 2027 class, Elijah Haven, who's really been talking up Florida a lot, and they got him as his leader. I think a couple of crystal balls have rolled in for Florida from Steve Wiltfong and some of the other experts there that do the recruiting over there at On3. But, I mean, this is a kid that has all the tools. I wouldn't call him DJ Lagway because DJ Lagway was just a different anomaly in himself the year that we had recruited him. But, I mean, he's got all the tools as long as – I mean, he's tall – strong arm. He's hit a couple of, I don't know if he's hit some records here or there, but he's done, everything that you can do as a high school quarterback at the highest level. When looking at the film, I'm really curious to see his senior year. I think he averages around a 60% completion rating or so. I think he has 65 the year before. So, those things are big. I look at a lot of those things when looking at quarterbacks and we're after them. What is their statistics look like in high school? What's their completion ratings look like? Because usually that does translate when they get to college. And of course, DJ Lagway's was out the roof. I think he had a 70% completion rating his last year, or close to it. Had an upper 60s the year before his junior year. So, Elijah Haven's statistics not really like DJ Lagway's, but of course, a guy that has all the physical tools that you would want out of a quarterback playing in the SEC. And very, very highly interested in Florida, too. So I'd be looking out for that one coming down the stretch.
Great update. And I'll just tell you this. We have gone since December hyping this season. We could have a baby in that time, David. I'm so happy. Look, we almost made it to the finish line. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, David Soderquist is going to join us all season long, talk Gator football. Thank you so much, man. Have a great day, and good luck on the new season with your coverage.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Anytime, man.
Great stuff with, Dave Soderquist with Hightop Sports. Always love talking football with him. And yes, Florida Gator football will start less than 2 weeks from today there in the swamp. It is going to be fun. You look at high school football, and we were doing this yesterday with Alan Slaughter-Zinski. I'll just do it real quick again. You think about who's going to play Friday night. Everyone's going to play high school football this Friday night. Bayside's at home, Cocoa Beach in Melbourne, O'Galley at Vero Beach, Astronaut hosting Palm Bay, Holy Trinity's at home against Legacy, Cocoa at Merritt Island Christian at Ocala Christian. Halifax Academy at Satellite, Heritage at Titusville, Rockledge at Vieira. Oh, yeah, full slate high school football this Friday night. College football in 2 weeks. Then the big boys play September 4th to kick off the NFL season. Loved having Kyle Nash on the show to talk UCF and the Jaguars. And again, you just heard David with Hightop Sports talking all things Florida Gator football. Hey, we're always broadcasting live from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Look, if you got into a car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, Call my friends at Anidjar and Levine. That's Mark Anidjar and Glenn Levine. They will fight for you and get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call for a free consultation and don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anidjar and Levine. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. Tomorrow, Marcus with Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne is going to join us. He's got some big music festival this weekend there at Chumley's. And Tim Walters, Florida Today, will join us as well. We will preview a new season of high school football with him. So have a great night. And guess what? We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Mark Moses Show.